But I wanted to know what was going on here because she didn't remember anything else, you know, under hypnosis. That was the experience. And they said, I said, why? You know, she had this sighting of this craft, but all this other stuff was going on. I said, what was going on? She said, everything had stopped for everybody else but her. And she said, if anybody had been watching, she would have been invisible. They would not have seen her at all. It was not their experience, it was hers. She was moving faster than time for the rest of us. So she would have been invisible. And I said, why would this happen? And they said, often when people have a sighting, they think nothing else has happened and there is no abductions, but they said just sighting is enough. We have to stop their world for a fraction of a second, get their attention and stop their world. And I said, but people, we have to get their guard down. And I said, but people don't have their guard up all the time. And they said, yes, they do. So we have to stop their world by something to get their attention. And I said, well, what happens then? And they said, then the information is inserted. Now, I don't know if you heard this or not, but I get letters from all over the world, people saying they're getting information put into their minds. Some of them say, one man said he was laying on a couch and a beam of light was coming through the window full of geometric symbols. And these were flooding into his mind. Often it's not information as we perceive it, it's sets of geometric symbols and concepts, entire concepts all at once. They said we have to stop their world long enough to just insert the information on the cellular level. Then they continue on with their life. And I said, well, what is this for? They said, because in the future, as we're going through this, our changes now with the world changes, the changes in the consciousness, the raising of the consciousness, there's going to be changing in the molecular structure of the body, and people will need information to help them. And they said at that time, the information will come out and they won't even remember where it came from. So it's interesting, isn't it? It's information that's going to help our world as we go through the earth changes, as we go through the raising of the consciousness and the environments. And this is happening everywhere. Even in China, I was getting cases of this. In Singapore, UFO literature is not allowed. I was not allowed to talk about UFOs. I took my books and they bought them all, though. But when I did individual therapy sessions, they were coming up with abductions and the same scenarios that I hear all over the world, although they're not exposed to it in that country. And a lot of them are saying, information is coming in. I don't know what it is. I don't know what to do with it. So I said, don't worry about it. They said it'll be there when you need it. And it'll help you in the future. All of a sudden, it'll be like waking up and we'll have it for the moving into this next part. And believe me, it's not mind control, it is not negative, it's positive information because they want to help our world. So often when you have a sighting and you don't think anything else has happened, that's all it needs. And there's other cases where they have the screen memories, as we call them, where they don't see an alien per se, they will see owls are big favorites. You will see owls or you will see animals acting in strange ways. Whitley Strieber calls them screen memories. I call them overlays. It's the same thing. It's not really what is there. There is more behind it. And these is the same way. Get your attention, but don't frighten the person, but get their attention so information can be inserted. So these things, again, I don't find as negative because I'm getting so much of this and I see what is happening everywhere and it's helping a great deal of people. Oh boy, I'm trying to, I don't want to go too much into a lot of that because there is so much information I've covered in 15 years. I have seen the human body do things that's impossible to do when we are going through regression cases and they are exposed to the energy involved with a UFO. I've seen the body do things that's impossible for it to do, and I was always glad in those cases I had Lou Farish with me and Jerry Blackwell as a witness to some of the things. And some of the skeptics, when they talk about this, I say, okay, you explain what I saw then. Because they're talking to me and yet their body is going through visible shaking all over. The hair, the skin, all parts of the body are contracting and vibrating, and it's coming from the energy they're being exposed to on board the craft or underneath the craft when they're having a sighting. The human body is impossible for it to do those kind of things because they're talking to me. Even if you were going to try to make it happen, you couldn't make your body shake like that and still converse with me at the same time. And they're in too deep of a state that they couldn't be making all this up anyway. So I've had some very strange things happen that I